The NBA's leading scorer, we're talking about the Lakers and Rockets. Let me set it up. Lakers versus Rockets. So we're leading with first. The NBA's leading scorer just flew to Europe to rehab a grade 2 hamstring. His co-star has a grade 2 oblique, and the Lakers will have to play the hottest team in the West in 5 days. So let me set it up for you. Luka flew to Europe for a specialized treatment on his left hamstring and is not expected back for the start of the playoffs. Austin Reeves is out 4 to 6 weeks with the oblique strain. That's 57 combined points per game sitting in street clothes. LeBron at 41 has to carry his team against a Houston squad that won 7 straight to close the season out, and they're sitting at 52 wins, 30 losses. But JJ Redick himself said it out loud to everybody. I'm sure everybody wants to play us. Matthew, is this series already over before it starts?
So I don't think Houston won 7 straight, but I do think they won 9 of their last 10. Because I think they closed. I think their second to last game they had a loss. But I do believe maybe at one point there were 7 games in there, but it was definitely 9 of their last 10. Yeah, man, you're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers with Luka out. Luka, who was the whole offense. Because Sean, how many times have I come on this podcast and said, "Hey, come playoff time, you're not going to want Luka shooting 35 shots a game. You're going to want other players contributing." Okay, well, I was only saying that because I was worried that they were going to find a way to guard Luka and make other teams beat them. But now you're going to tell me Luka's not even going to be there, at least for the first round. And in addition, they're being coy about Austin Reeves, but I don't think he's coming back from the playoffs. Once you start talking about grades higher than 1, you're talking about more than a month. You're not talking in weeks, you're talking in months. So if you're going to tell me that a 41-year-old LeBron, okay, now let me say this though, because I don't believe a 41-year-old LeBron can take this team very far. But if he was even able to take them to the 3rd round, because basically after this series, they would have to play OKC, which we'll talk about that when we get to the Spurs, how dumb I think it was for the Spurs to sit Wemby for the last game and how hard they made their playoff run. But so if the Lakers were to win this series against Houston, one of the hottest teams in the league, which we talk about peaking at the right time. We were talking about Houston all season about how they're struggling. But then come April to win 9 of your last 10, I think this should be Houston in 5. But Sean, if 41-year-old LeBron was able to take this dusty old racehorse called the Los Angeles Lakers into the second, into the 3rd round, then we have to start because I'm firmly in the Jordan over LeBron camp. But if 41-year-old LeBron did something amazing this playoffs, and I've come on here and been one of LeBron's haters, not like a huge hater, but I've just on different topics, I've definitely had my share of things to say. But if he was able to take this dusty old racehorse Los Angeles Lakers team into the 2nd, 3rd, God forbid the finals, because we would never hear the end of it from his fans, then that would be special. But you have to say this Houston team's peaking at the right time. They got guys making shots. Kevin Durant's playing like prime Kevin Durant. They're minimizing the weaknesses of Thompson and Sengun and their other players, and they're finally getting some production from the bench. I'm going to say, Sean, Houston in 5, but I'm going to say if the Lakers win this series, then LeBron's all-time stock goes up, up, up.
Okay. Well, listen, like you said, LeBron is 41, and this roster without Luka and Reeves is essentially like a play-in team. But also, we've seen this movie before, right, Matthew? LeBron carried the 2018 Cavs to the entire East without a legitimate second option, and he's been playing at an elite level down the stretch, putting up 18 points in 17 minutes in the finale. Well, of course, it was against Utah, right? But before sitting down the second half. And ESPN's, what's his name? Tim Bonatep's laid out the plan, right? Yeah. He said, give LeBron the ball, spread the floor with shooters, and hope the Rockets consistently poor late game execution costs them in crunch time. Now, it's not a great game plan, right? But if anyone can will a team through a series on sheer force, it's still LeBron James. The real question, Matthew, is whether his body holds up playing 40 minutes a night for 2 weeks.
Disagree. Because 2018, Sean, what year are we in right now? We're in 2026. So 2018 was 8 years ago. And yes, there was a time where you could surround LeBron with shooters and he could take you to the finals. In the East, which was historically weaker than the West, you get through one good team, whether it's Toronto or Atlanta, then you're there. That was 8 years ago, Sean. That wasn't 3 years ago. That wasn't 4 years ago. It was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I don't think you could do the same thing. And also, he had the pick of the litter those years with the Cavs. He got to pick the best role players in the game. So, I mean, for one, besides the 1 year, it wasn't even role players because that last year it was a lot of role players. But before that, it was Kyrie. It was Kevin Love, who he even had in that last year. It was J.R. Smith. So basically, he got the best stars with him. He had Kyrie. He had Kevin Love. He had the best role players. He had J.R. Smith. They would always pivot in.
I think he had Kyle Korver, right?
That's what I say. They were going to pivot in some good shooters next to him. So he'd always have a Kyle Korver. He'd always have a random good backup big. He'd always have some good veteran leadership because they had the pick of the litter. This year, his co-stars, if he's going to do it with this Lakers team, his co-stars are going to be Rui Hachimura, who's good, but ideally isn't your second option, and Marcus Smart from Boston. He's going to be Rui and Marcus Smart. And so I don't think a 41-year-old LeBron with Rui Hachimura and Marcus Smart is going to take this team very far. And honestly, LeBron had his worst statistical season that he's ever had in his career. He shot horribly from three. He shot horribly from the free throw line. He had to take a back seat to Luka a lot of the year, which I don't think came easy for him. But now's his time to prove everybody wrong. Because if he takes this 41-year-old body takes this team even out of the first round, that's a tremendous achievement.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. Now, remember, if somehow LeBron and them power their way through the Rockets in that first round, you got to come back there and tell everybody, I'm sorry for doubting you, LeBron James.
I'd be happy to do that because I think it's almost impossible. But even if he does get that dusty old racehorse into the second round, then they got to play the Oklahoma City Thunder. So no matter what, for this Lakers team, it ends in round 2.
Right. But I'm like you. I'm predicting the Rockets to take it. Man, I don't even think Lakers will get one. Well, maybe. Lakers might pull off one, right?
Everybody gets one.
Every now and then, everybody has that little hot streak every now and then, right?
Even when the Raptors won the finals in Kawhi's best year, even that first series, the first round, they played the Orlando Magic, and even the Orlando Magic got one against the Raptors. So everybody usually gets one.